Hello, seventh graders. I don't know if you are getting sick of hearing me or not, but I have another video for you today, and what I want to talk to you about today is how to study. As you know, lots of our students had some trouble with the Unit 2 informational text summative, and we are giving you an opportunity to retest. But before that, you need to just learn a few things about studying techniques, and we thought that maybe you aren't really sure how to go about studying for an ELA test, and so this is our attempt to help you with that. I want you to pretend right now that my classroom is not behind me, and instead imagine me being at home in my living room or my bedroom or at the kitchen table or whatever, and I am going to tip my camera here so you can kind of see my desk space. Notice that it's clear and clean with the exception of my planner and a few other things. And so what I typically would do if I were you and thinking about bringing your planner home with you, if you're using it, if you're not using it, this isn't going to help you, but if you are using it, what you'll see is that I put in over here on November 7th that I need to study for my Unit 2 test. And I wrote it sideways because that's my strategy I use when it's something that I need to remember to do. If it's something I need to remember to do, I write it sideways. If it's just information that I need to know, then I'll write it the regular way. So November 8th, the next day, I have my Unit 2 summative. I need to remember to study for it the night before, all right? So as I'm at home in my living room, I open up my planner, and I see this here. It's Tuesday right now on November 7th, and I go, ooh, I need to study for my Unit 2 test. That's right. Yeah, I would have forgotten otherwise, right? And so first thing that I would do is I would take my cell phone and I would turn it off, okay? Power it down, put it on silent, throw it in the other room, put it in the freezer, whatever you need to do, get it out of the way so that it's not a distraction to you, okay? And if you do that, studying should only take you 15-20 minutes. If you have your phone next to you and you're getting your Snapchats and your texts and all that, studying is going to take you an hour because you're going to get distracted and disrupted so many times because you guys are so popular. Okay, so put it away, get it out of the way. The next thing that you should be able to do at this point, and I'm going to angle up here a little better, is you should be able to take out your ELA composition notebook, and you should be able to turn to the Unit 2 section. And what I would probably do is I would probably start with the goal and reflection sheet, all right? Because that tells you what your grades have been so far through the formative assessments. And so if you look at your goal and reflection sheet and you notice that you had, an A, a B, and a D on the learning targets, then you know where you need to focus for your studying the most. So on this example that I just did, I had a D on my ability to infer the author's purpose through analysis of word choices and connotation. And so I know going into my study session that that's where I need to focus the most, okay? The next thing that I would do is I would look at the study guide that my teacher gave me. My lights just turned off in my classroom. Remember, we're in my living room, but apparently in my living room I have a motion sensor in my living room as well. So hold on just a second. I'm going to wiggle around so the lights turn on. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, okay, so pretend like my study guide is all filled out, all right? I filled it out in class like my teacher asked me to. And so what I would do is I would start at the top and I would go through my study guide. And so I would look at it and I'd go, okay, I need to know what the 3 stages of close reading are. Do I know what they are? What did we talk about in class in terms of close reading? Oh, is that thing with that upside down triangle that Mrs. Powers put up on the wall? It's like an upside down triangle, and it has big picture at the top, and then yeah, it had author's view in the middle, and it had my own personal opinion at the end. So I remember now that close reading is when I start with trying to figure out what the article's about. And then as I continue reading, I focus on the author's perspective or their own opinion on the topic. And then I end by recognizing my own feelings and my own view on the topic that the author wrote about, right? And if I go back into my notes, I should even have those notes here to review with me. There's close reading directions, the picture. Oh yeah, there's that upside down triangle. And all that information is here. So I can take a minute and go through it and make sure that I remember how to do close reading, right? And then I would go to the next thing on the study guide. And the next thing on the study guide is about central idea. It says, oops, where's my camera? Oh gosh, I can't see. It says, define central idea and then give 2 tips to determining the central idea of a text. 2 tips to determining the central idea of a text. Well, I remember kind of what central idea is. I think it has to do with kind of the main point of the article. Like, what is that one thing that the author really wants us to know and understand when we're done reading, right? That's central idea. It's written as a statement, not a topic. It has to be an entire sentence. And we include a few of the 5 W's, maybe the what, and the why and the where, or something like that. We get some of that information in there. And actually, if I go back to my notes, I have notes in here about central idea. Look, I even labeled it at the top. So I should take a minute and go through those notes as well. And if you notice on the bottom,
just a quick announcement, Facts Club has been
canceled.
Facts Club is canceled for this evening. Have a wonderful night. Be safe.
Be safe, everyone. Anyways, the bottom here even has my tips for finding central idea, looking for nouns and verbs, noticing the title, subtitles, pictures, images, all that stuff is there, all right? Okay, so I now remember what central idea is. Now let's go to the next section. This is about defining author's purposes. Ooh, that, I think I did pretty well on that in the class activities, although there's no grade for it. So I should really make sure to find my notes and look those over, because 6 is a lot. 6 is a lot of purposes. To memorize them is going to take me some work. So I'm going to go back to my notes again, and look, I have this little section here called the 5 purposes. I think that is in reference to author's purposes. So I'm going to go back and read through these notes. Express and reflect, inform and explain, evaluate and judge, analyze and interpret, inquire and explore, take a stand, propose a solution. And so now I'm remembering what the 6 purposes are about. It's different than pie, inform, entertain, and persuade, and this is a little bit more specific, and so I like this. It's hard to understand maybe, but I'm reminded of what those 6 purposes are. And you guys, this is what I do. I would go back to my study guide. What's the next thing on the list? Okay, the next thing on the list is define the following text structures: cause and effect, chronological, sequential, problem and solution, compare and contrast. So again, you go back to your notes. I have this whole chart in here about text structures. It's a little hard to read here. There's a lot of blurry text here, but you know what? If I go onto Google and I type in nonfiction text structure and click on images, I bet you I can find this exact same chart. And you know what? I tried it and it actually worked. I was able to find this exact same chart with the same text in it, and I could actually read it. All right. So I'm taking notes or reading that over and remembering the information that I need to there. All right. And then that's what I would do to study. And if I still feel like I'm not familiar enough with the content, then I would make some flashcards, and I would have someone at home quiz me, or have a friend on the bus quiz me, or someone in core, and they can just quiz me on the different terms. All right. You know, in my chart, my reflection chart, again, I struggled the most with this section here. And so I would definitely make sure to spend some extra time going through those things and making maybe flashcards for sure for that one section. But maybe I don't need to make flashcards for central idea because I did a nice job on that, and it seems like I know what I'm doing, right? And same thing with down here. So you've got to kind of analyze your own self and your own learning and develop a study habit that works for you and is going to give you the information that you need. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful for you. Good luck if you're going to do a retest. You are going to do better, I'm sure, if you follow some of these techniques. Okay, thanks.